Getting in visuals now of the Taliban who have stormed into the headquarters of the Afghanistan Cricket Board accompanied by a former national cricketer. This is Taliban now trying to take control of Afghan cricket as well. On your television screens, those visuals that we are picking up from the headquarters of Afghanistan Cricket Board. There you can clearly see how the Taliban people are present in large numbers, essentially highlighting how they've taken control of Afghan cricket as well. This is also coming in with a tweet that has been put out confirming that Islamic Emirates Taliban have arrived in Afghanistan Cricket Board headquarters in Kabul, accompanying by former national cricketers. So they have a former national cricketer also with them as they've stormed into the headquarters of the Afghanistan Cricket Board. Let me quickly go across to Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, who is joining us this afternoon. Thank you, sir, for taking out your time. But we talk about the Taliban takeover, sir. We've seen how it's been a speedy process. Nobody's even gotten to know and rather even anticipated that it could be so swift. But how they're now slowly going on to take over several other establishments, like, for example, in these visuals, the Afghan Cricket Board, the headquarters they've stormed into. They're trying to take charge of weapons of security agencies who are responsible for guarding the embassies and so on and so forth, sir.
When you look at it, the Talibanis have ensured that the takeover is swift and it is not bloody. That is what their aim is. However, Talibanis cannot be be taken for granted with the kind of things that they're doing. They're very sure that the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan is there to stay. That is the first thing. The second thing is that at no point of time, even the ex-vice president, now I wouldn't say the ex-vice president, the vice president of Afghanistan, Saleh, who's declared himself as the officiating president of Afghanistan, seemed to have absolutely no say whatsoever. However hard they might do, I think Taliban is there now. They have taken over Kabul. And if you see, there's not much of noise coming from the other provincial capitals other than Jalalabad, where there was a bit of resistance. Because otherwise, all other provincial capitals seem to be reasonably quiet. The noises are coming only from Kabul. And even from there, the kind of statements being made by the Taliban leadership seems to be not definitely, they're not walking the talk, because the Taliban fighters are doing totally different on ground to what the Taliban leadership wants them to do. And even the Taliban leadership right now also seems divided. I don't know how far I'm right, but it gives a feeling that it seems divided because the Baradar group and the Akhundzada, they don't yet nothing seems to be coming clearly as to who would now lead Afghanistan. Is it Muhammad Omar's group, earlier one, Mullah Omar's group, with whom Akhundzada was very, very close, and Baradar, of course, was for 8 years in jail in Pakistan, who was wanted by the United States, and he did the political negotiations, all said and done. But the clout that now the Taliban has in Kabul seems almost for certain that they have penetrated everywhere and that everybody must now be able to give in to the Taliban diktat. It is only how Taliban now behave is to be seen. If the Taliban behaves in that old fashion, what it did in 1996, 2001, or would it be a little different after seeing the cosmopolitan, the metropolitan crowd of Kabul? Yeah.
General Kulkarni, now there's a list of promises, that have essentially been made by Taliban. Taliban has gone on to say in public that the war is over, everyone has been pardoned. They've spoken of how no one's life, property or honor is under threat anymore. They're talking about rights of women and how they will be protected. But if we go by the events of the last 2-3 days, we've seen how they've opened fire at the airport. We've seen them storm into people's residence and take them down. We've seen what they've been doing to women and children. It's absolutely bizarre. Who are they even trying to fool?
True, absolutely true. The visuals that are coming, it does give a feeling that the Taliban is not walking the talk. There is no doubt about that. But the visuals that are being shown also give a feeling that Taliban is looking at, kill one and scare 10,000 of them in one stroke. Because there isn't been the bloodshed the way we would have expected the bloodshed. primarily because there is no bloodshed, because everybody seems to have just given in the arm, and have just thrown the arms, surrendered, 100% surrender to Taliban. One doesn't know whether it is a tie-up, whether it is a massive corruption, because Afghan government is known for corruption. Afghan government is known for the kind of deals that they've been doing. It is not a monolith organization. It's all divided, house divided everywhere. And definitely, Taliban is now looking for recognition. And that recognition only comes if they can put up a good face in Kabul. That's the place where they want to show, because Kandahar, in any case, is their own capital. But Kabul is where international attention is drawn. Taliban is aware that the aid would not be coming to them if they showed disrespect to women. They know that the kind of noises that the entire international community has already decided to make and be able to put Taliban on the back foot, especially in terms of human rights and women's treatment. So they're aware of all that. But despite that, I think the Taliban leadership does not seem to be in full control of the Taliban fighters. The way the visuals are coming out, the way the treatment with women, number one, treatment with the firing that you rightly said, if it hadn't been for the Americans coming in and taking control of the Kabul airport, it would have been chaos of what we saw on day one. It would have continued till date, but it hasn't happened. And that is a fact that Taliban is in full control, but Taliban fighters are not doing what the Taliban leadership is wanting it. The ill treatment of women continues. House-to-house search continues. All those who were loyal to the previous government and the regime, their knocking off is continuing. The checking at various points is continuing. Extortions on the highways is continuing. People not being allowed to go to the airport is continuing. People being told from the airport, go back to your houses. They're wanting to instill some kind of confidence amongst the people in Kabul, not happening. The way they are wanting, by announcing general amnesty, is not working. All that is going because of the past experience of the people of Afghanistan, and also the kind of treatment that Taliban has been doing. And also, remember one thing, 2018, when the talks started with the United States in Doha, by then Taliban was almost in control of 200 of the 410 districts. And the way they have been establishing themselves, the way they have ensured that Afghanistan is cut off from Iran, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, and has only linked with Pakistan, is all indicative. And of course, the Taliban is in full backup and support from Pakistan. That we must not forget, that everything, the leadership is coming to them from Pakistan, the information is coming to them from Pakistan, all the support, medical support, logistics, everything following is from Pakistan. The Taliban is in control of equipment and arms and weapons meant for 3 lakh of the Afghan National Security Forces. Most sophisticated equipment that you can even dream of. Even we may not have that kind of an equipment, the kind of equipment that has fallen into the hands of Taliban, which will subsequently fall into the hands of ISI, will then subsequently flow to Pakistan. And from there, you will find the kind of swapping of weapons happening over there. The Taliban fighters now are not just carrying AK-47, they're carrying new M16s and M4s of the American equipment. So all that is instilling fear amongst the people in Afghanistan. And I hope the leadership of Taliban shows a good face, a humane face is what is expected of them. If that doesn't happen, then I'm sure chaos and bloodshed will follow soon.
Yes, General Kulkarni, these visuals go on to explain how slowly Taliban is taking control across Afghanistan. But sir, if we talk about the global scenario, we have global powers who are still open to a changed Taliban. Taliban at a time when it's promising of an inclusive government, it's talking about change, it's talking about progression. You have global powers, the likes of US in fact also, who are still maintaining that they are now watching out for how Taliban portrays itself, how do they proceed going forward. Several other nations like China, Russia, Iran, who are already open to dialogue with them, are engaged with them since a while now. How do you view this, sir? Because the reality is for everyone to see. Why are we even talking about a changed Taliban and expecting something in return?
Absolutely what you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's extremely, extremely unfortunate that the whole world is talking, the whole world is watching, but everyone is feeling bad for the poor Afghans. But not one helping out the poor Afghan. Everyone, right from USA, has only supported Taliban. They are entirely responsible for giving that total motivation, and the entire confidence building that has gone to Taliban is primarily because USA indulged in talks with them only.